Hi.
Hi.
I love you.
I love you.
Oh, thank you. I had a question about your character, Kaylee. What did you find most rewarding about playing her character?
I think if you're an actor, you kind of can't help but take a little piece of the character you're playing home at the end of every day. It sticks with you. The residual something of that character sticks with you for a little bit. And she was such a sunny, happy, positive person that I couldn't really help but feel that way the majority of the time when we were shooting. So that was a nice thing. But having said that, people expect me to be always positive and happy and sunny, and I'm much more sarcastic and sardonic than that. So I always feel like I'm disappointing people in some way.
Next question. I see right here in the front. We usually raise our hands. First of all, I loved your character for the fact that she was a woman, and she very much had that as one of her main assets, but she was also a badass and a mechanic. I just thought it was great.
Thank you for saying badass. No one ever calls Kaylee a badass.
Well,
we're talking about Kaylee, right?
Yeah, they obviously weren't watching the show because I thought she was a total badass.
Thank you.
And Steve. Did you get to keep the dress?
No. Here's the thing. Mostly, you are not allowed to keep anything when you leave a set. They keep stuff for several reasons, just in case the show ever comes back and they need those things, or for charity auctions, memorabilia places, you know, things like that. So we hardly ever get to keep anything. I didn't want it anyway. I didn't. I love how shocked you are. That dress was a nightmare. It was a nightmare. You couldn't pee in it. It took forever to get on. It was insanely uncomfortable. I loved it for 5 whole minutes because it was different from everything else that I had to wear for the show. So I was really excited. And then I lived in it for like half an hour and was like, oh my God, this is horrible.
Well, if they decide to give it away, I'll take it.
Okay, I think someone bought it actually. It's somewhere in the world. I know that.
I see one right in the middle, right there. Bandana.
I agree that Kaylee's a badass.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I really like this, guys. I'm taking this with me.
Referring to her.
A lot of fans make fan fiction now. If you were able to make your own, who would Kaylee hook up with on the show?
Oh, that's so gross. Well, I'm just thinking of like who I have to choose from, and it's slim pickings. The thought of ever having to make out with Nathan makes me want to vomit. He's like my brother. Alan, same thing. Adam is more like my dad, so no. And Ron, that's just weird. I don't know. Who would... I think the only fan fiction that I haven't been entirely grossed out by is probably the Kaylee and Nara fan fiction.
That and Wash and Kaylee.
And Wash and Kaylee? See, that's weird to me. They've got like a brother-sister sort of thing going on. She was like everybody's little sister. So it's tough for me to think about that. Also, I know about all that fan fiction stuff. I've come across it over the years. It's gross. It's gross in general. So weird. So many combinations.
You realize you just admitted to reading fan fiction and now you're going to get it all sent to you.
I know. Well, I haven't read it in a long time. I remember the first time I read it, I was like, whoa, I'm never doing this again. Ever. Ever, ever.
Right back there?
Me?
Yep.
With the hat?
Oh.
Hi, so you were in an episode of Supernatural, and most guest stars have funny stories from behind the scenes because apparently they're a bunch of goofballs. I was curious if you had one from your time on there?
Yeah, well, Jared's a goofball. Jensen is actually the perfect counterpart to Jared because Jensen is very soft-spoken, he's got a very calm energy, and he was directing my episode, so he had his director's hat on, and he was so sweet, and he had no ego at all. Sometimes when an actor decides they want to direct an episode, everyone's like, uh-oh. But he wasn't afraid to ask the crew for help or their opinions, which I thought was really nice to see and very humbling of him. But having said that, Jared will do absolutely anything to get a laugh. Like, he's just one of those people. I remember I had this really intense scene to do with him and a close-up to walk into where the camera's like this on my face. And as I spun around, he'd been given a fake knife by the prop department and was sticking it in the cameraman's ear. Like, he'll basically just do anything he possibly can to throw you off. But they're so sweet and such lovely guys, very tall gentlemen. I just wish they were better looking.
Right in the front
here.
here.
Have everything.
First off, Jewel, thank you for playing Kaylee so beautifully. You're amazing. You're awesome. Is Firefly ever going to come back? Please say yes.
If I had a nickel. I don't know. I mean, I will say this. There are crazier things that have happened in this industry. So I would say never say never. I know for a fact that the rest of the cast would love to do it. We all love each other a lot. I'm a little tired today because I was out with them last night. We had a little party at Nathan's house. So I'm a bit tired. But we all love each other a lot. And I know Nathan in particular would jump at the chance to do the show again. He's a bigger Firefly fan than all of you put together. Think I'm kidding? I'm not. Every time I go to his house, the memorabilia from Firefly seems to grow. Like yesterday in one of his guest rooms, he had little Malcolm Reynolds throw pillows on the bed. And I was like, those are new? So yeah, I think we would all be down for sure. It'd be fun. It'd be fun to do.
You with your hand up right back there? The hat?
Oh, I like your shirt. Love it.
Hi, Joel. So, any other Whedon night here obviously knows that Joss likes to reuse actors consistently. Since you were in Serenity and Firefly, have you ever been approached by Joss to be in a future project, or is there anything he has in the works that you're trying to get your name into?
Maybe.
Age of Ultron? Come on.
I don't know. I mean, the thing is, I would love to work with him, obviously, because he's very talented and great at what he does. But he's my friend. He's my good friend. And I would never jeopardize my friendship with him by asking him for a job. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I want him to know that I respect our friendship much more than I ever would the chance to possibly work together again. Friendship comes first for me. But yeah, I would love to. And I saw him last night, and you know, we may have had a vodka or two, and we're going off about how much we miss each other. So you never know. You never know. We're good pals, so we'll see. Friends like to work with friends, right? So you never know.
You know the next question is going to be, what superhero do you want to play?
Any of them. do I have to be specific? Any and all.
You're over there with the hat.
Did you keep anything from Firefly, from the set?
I got to keep a couple of things, but I don't know. I kind of wish, because Nathan has all of his stuff because he stole it, and I kind of wish that, I'm serious, I kind of wish that I had that in me, because when the show was canceled, he showed up on the set on our last day with a box, and he just started taking things off the wall. And I was like, oh my god, what are you doing? And he's like, what are they going to do? Seriously. And then when we did the movie, they rebuilt the entire set, whole brand new set. It was so beautiful. And he did the same thing. On the last day, he showed up with a box and was just taking stuff. So I just wish I had been gutsier, because now all these years later, I wish I had more stuff. I could steal it from his house, actually. I could have done that last night. I had it in my hand and everything. But I didn't do it. I'm not ballsy enough. I got to keep the Kaylee's room door sign.
Oh, yeah.
That always gets an awe. and I got to keep the hammock from the engine room.
Nice,
There we go,
yeah.
thank you. But, you know, I'm too nice, and people asked me for things for charity auctions, and I gave them away. And I'm sad about that. I wish I had kept some stuff. Oh well.
It's a girl in the TARDIS dress right there. Hello, I'm going to reach back a little further in your history.
Here we go.
Last
Here
year,
it comes.
they had a Pete and Pete reunion, and in 2 years, it's going to be 20 years since Flash Forward. Would you be interested in getting back together with those guys
Oh, sure.
and having a good time at a con?
Sure, why not? I haven't seen those guys in forever. However, I do think a Space Cases reunion would go over a little bit better. People love Space Cases.
See, I grew up, like, I know it wasn't on for very long, but it came on at a very
You're a
formative
Flash
time in my
Forward
life,
girl.
so I was like, oh.
Yeah, I get that a fair amount still. And it's usually from people that don't know where they know me from. And because they grew up watching me, they'll say things like, did we go to school together? Or, did you used to babysit me? I don't know, I feel like I know you. And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to be that, you know, jerk actor that's like, I was on a TV show. So I usually don't say anything, and it's this really awkward moment, and it happens all the time. Serious, like maybe once a day sometimes.
Next question? Red shirt back there?
You guys had the party last.
I mean, my big fantasy was obviously getting together with Simon. You know, I thought that should have happened, and Sean felt the same way. We always, and Gina talked about this a lot too. We always wanted there to be a baby on the ship. Someone needed to have a baby to raise the stakes a little higher and soften Mal up a bit. So I would say that definitely. I know Alan has all kinds of things that he's actually written and like pitched to Joss at one point or another about Wash's crazy backstory. Alan is very creative. He's a very creative individual. His stories don't make any sense. But yeah, he's definitely the one that's speculated the most. But yeah, you know, I would love to tell you that we all stand around and talk about where our characters would be now. But here's the funny thing about that show is that you guys all miss it, and I get that. But we don't have a whole lot to miss because we still see each other, and we still have each other as friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's interesting for us to see you guys associate a sadness with the show when we don't have a whole lot to be sad about. If anything, we're super grateful because we get to come to these things. I've traveled the world because of that show, and I get to come to these conventions all over the world. It's amazing. And I still get to see my friends. So yeah, it's a little different for us. So we just stand around and talk about life stuff. Everybody's having babies now. It's like crazy. We're all so old. Except for me.
Serenity had a male mechanic. And,
yeah, he sucked.
Right, and Kaylee stole his job. So that's kind of why one of the reasons she's a badass, because she did a job better than a man could do a job.
Yeah.
Just want to throw that out.
She sure did, yes. That was it? That wasn't even a question. We need one more.
Well, how do you feel
You guys
about
are
that?
just trying to like keep me here.
Yes.
I feel great about it. What do you mean? Kaylee's biggest weapon was her brain and her charm.
All right, she said one more, and I see that you have a follow-up there. The next time you guys have a get-together at Nathan Fillion's house, can we be invited?
At least
Oh,
record
wouldn't
it.
you love that? Wouldn't you love that?
Yes.
I have to catch a plane. Thank you so much for coming. I had so much fun with you guys. You're always so nice to me.
Big round of applause for Jewel Staite, guys.
It's Halloween, so that means free candy. This'll be good. Hi, have you seen a girl with blonde hair probably wearing pink running around here?
Over there, yeah. That side.
Not here.
God, where the heck are they? Seriously, how many places could a small petite blonde hide? I don't, oh my gosh, Jewel.
I know about all that fan fiction stuff.
I love her.
I've come across it over the years. It's gross.
And now, the real fun begins.